All right.
Yurcisin.
The Yurcisin. All right, I got it. Another episode of BOPCAST, folks. I'm not sure what number this is. I think it's like 24, 25 at this point. But on the show today, we got Colin. He is also known as Credit Colin. And we haven't talked about this too much. Honestly, we just hopped on the podcast, which is, like we were saying beforehand, is honestly our favorite way to do it. It's my favorite way to do it too. If you could just shoot the shit with somebody on a podcast, you really get to
Absolutely.
know them. So I really appreciate you coming on the show today, man.
No problem, bro. I'm happy to be here. As I told you, 5 minutes ago, podcasts are so fun. Like, I get so fired up on them.
Me too, man. It's like you're in a pod, like literally. Like it's like it's just the world is out there and you get to talk in here and it's just kind of isolated. I just love that
Yeah.
portion of it.
Yep.
On the headphones. But
I never thought about it like that. I like that. It's like you're in a
exactly.
pod.
It is, you are though. And if you do it in person with and both of y'all have headphones on, like I'll literally do it in my like dining room, but you still get in that zone. It's a weird zone that you don't really get to go in person.
Yep.
Or just a
Exactly,
regular
bro.
conversation.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, give us
Exactly.
I'm kind of curious as I'd rather start from kind of the beginning, and then we'll work our way up to where you're at now with the credit. But just to give people,
Yeah.
the context of like, why didn't you go the normal route? And, if you did go the normal route, what did you do, that changed that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
kind of interested in the story.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did go the normal route at first. I went to college. I'm an entrepreneur, but I actually did graduate from college, which is, pretty unlikely from everyone else in the game. So I got a 4-year degree at University of Arizona, business major, double major in management and international business. So I was always like, I wasn't the smartest. I just tried really freaking hard in school, but it never brought interest to me. I was never passionate about it, obviously. And yeah, so I got a job in sales at ADP. So I was doing outside sales for them, selling payroll services for about 11 months. And
Yep.
I just knew I could do so much more. I did not like it at all. All the people I worked with were just going through the motions, just meeting their quota. And I was just like, this is not it. And I always had a passion for like taking photos and traveling. So I was very active on Instagram all the time, even before I really niched out into credit or Instagram growth or whatever. Before I was making money, I always had quality photos. I like cared about it. So like I was always interested. Then when I started seeing like 18-year-olds making a shitload of money on Shopify, the whole thing, I was like, fuck, man, like I got to start doing something. So I was in outside sales, so I didn't have to be at my office that much, and I was doing pretty well. I had partners like referring me business, so it was pretty automated. So I got lucky with that. So within that time of that 11 months of working at my job, I started self-educating. I started reading a ton of books. I started listening to Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, the 10X Rule, Crush It. That was like became my life. Like these guys in my ear every day. Tony Robbins, like anyone, Robert Kiyosaki. So I just really like within 11 months, I basically went to college again in the right way. And I
Yep.
educated myself on all the correct things I should have learned. And I learned more in that 11 months that I've learned, I think, in my entire life. So I became super aware of, the habits of millionaires and what all these people are doing, morning routines. So I was like, fuck, like I need to jumpstart because I'm behind 4 years from all these 18-year-olds who started entrepreneurship right away. So I got to fucking step it up. So basically, I just started doing habits of successful people, and that transitioned into me trying a bunch of different things online, seeing what worked. And in the beginning, I was so behind everyone, so I was comparing myself to others, and I wanted to jumpstart. I wanted to get rich quick overnight.
Yep.
So I did something super stupid. I took out a loan, a personal loan. All these automation stores going around, like
Oh
the
yeah.
Amazon, there's Shopify, there's eBay. So I just picked, this person I shouldn't have trusted with anything, and I took out a $20,000 loan. I invested in like an automation store, and I actually got like scammed, like out like all my money in the loan. So now I'm like at a job I hate. I don't know what to do in entrepreneurship, and now I'm down 20K. So like my initial
Wow.
start in entrepreneurship was extremely shitty. But that actually brought me that shitty all along. And I met him like by the kid that we got scammed by. And so me and him linked up in that situation.
Wait, I'm sorry.
And
Who is it? I'm sorry, you cut out. Who is this guy? Just reintroduce him.
Paulie Paulie Long is like one of my best friends.
Okay.
So we met like about six months ago through the person that we got scammed by. Pretty funny. So, some of the shittiest things can actually bring you the best situations.
You got it.
So at the time, I didn't know that. I didn't even know I was being scammed at that point. But we basically decided at that point that we were gonna do entrepreneurship. And I was like, bro, you should move out here, man. He was from Philly. I'm living in Scottsdale, Arizona at this time. This is about like 6-7 months ago. And he was like, yeah, bro, let's fucking do it. And I just met this kid, but I liked his energy. He liked mine. So we went back home to Philly because he was just visiting. And then he calls me up. He's like, yo, bro, like, I want to do this. Like, I was like, come to Scottsdale. You won't do it. Like, drive here. 2 days later, he shows up with his car, quit his job at home. He was a personal trainer for like 4 or 5 years. He's like 27 years old. He just turned 28. Shows up at my doorstep and he's like, yo, let's fucking do it. I was like, holy shit. So I went into my
Wow.
job that day. I quit my job and we became full-time entrepreneurs. I was 20K in debt. I had no idea what the fuck I was going to do. I just knew I had to go all in, put my back against the wall. Within that time of those 6-7 months, we tried a ton of different shit. We did wholesale for real estate. We tried an ATM business. We did Instagram growth services, which I still do now.
Yeah, me
But
too.
that's really how I started making my initial money off the ground. My back against the wall. I made like, my first $2,000 in 1 week, and I was ecstatic. And I was like, that let me know that I could do entrepreneurship online. So through all that, and then also with the whole getting scammed, my loan, I had to figure out all the payments and shit. So
Yeah.
I started really learning about lenders and credit repair and removing things off your files. And that really brought me down a rabbit hole. And I saw that, credit can help you travel. And I really started all putting it together. And I was like, holy shit, like, I think credit could be my niche. So, I knew I had to do something different. There's so many Instagram growth people out there. I didn't really like that model anyway. It wasn't scalable for me. So I decided to create something called Credit Class, which was just all of my expertise and all of my knowledge in one private Instagram page. So I started that out, and I started initially charging $250 for lifetime access. I'm sure you've seen like some close friends list, things like that. Like people charge $1,000. That's
Yep.
what I charge now. But anyway, so I started that. I think the first week I had like maybe 2 signups. And then I did like a little marketing plan. It was Black Friday, November of last year. So Black Friday is coming up. It's one of the biggest online shopping days. People make tons of money online. I was like, okay, I got to try this out to promote my service. So I like closed my private group for like the time being, and I like hyped it up all week. And I was like, 250 sale on Friday, going to be open for only 25 people. Open it up on that day, and I sold 25 spots at $250, which
Wow.
is a lot of money. Like, I don't know, what is that, six grand or something? So yeah, I made like 6K in a day. And at that point, I had never made that much money, and I was like, this is it. So then from that day on, I dedicated everything to credit. I started traveling on the weekends. I didn't have a job, so we were able to like any money I made, I was putting back into my brand, either growing my account more or traveling more and connecting with different partners in the credit industry, credit repair, the lending industry, people that just knew more than me. I was paying and meeting them. I just went all in. So I amplified everything super fast, and I was making a lot more money, doing about like, 10K a month, probably like 4 months ago. 3 months ago. And I decided that 2020, I was going to dedicate my life to traveling and showing people that, what I'm doing is real. So I said, Paulie, let's go to fucking Bali in January. Let's get a villa. So we booked a villa for the whole month of January. Went out to Bali on January like 7th or something and lived there for a month. It was amazing. And since then, bro, I've been just traveling all around the world. I've been meeting amazing people. And yeah, man, life has been fucking crazy.
Hey, I'm gonna take it back. Yeah, your story is insane. Thank you for telling that. I think a lot of people are. I mean, even in that just that story right there, I think you're gonna. That's it's great for people to see that come up, right? And for you to talk. I mean, think about the people that wouldn't talk about losing that 20 grand, right? That's not something that a lot of people would like to just put out to the world. Like, hey, listen, this was my first entrepreneurial experience and look like what happened. I want to ask you, like, now, I don't know the answer to this. Do you regret that because it brought you to where you are now?
Oh, dude, if I didn't do that 20 grand investment, I wouldn't have put my back against the wall, and I would have probably still like been a pussy about everything. Like, I needed that to hit me hard. I
Exactly.
not only did I lose the 20 grand, I got in with all the wrong people first off. Got scammed, and then for credit repair, I was sending clients out to credit repair, and this guy took like $5,000 of my clients' money and just left them dry. So
Wow.
like I had two failed partnerships, out 20K and no income with debt. And that, like, anyone else, like dude, whenever you go into a new life, your old life will try to pull you back.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't know that at the time, but dude, it was like anything great in life, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of hard work, and it's going to be hell and back to enter that new zone and make that quantum leap. And yeah, man, that's just what I had to go through because life was just testing me, bro. The universe wanted to see if I could take it because it knew that if I entered this new world of entrepreneurship, like I knew I could fucking crush it. But that was the test in the beginning, and I just kept going, bro.
Yeah. So do you continue to, I know, I assume you do, but how do you continue to self-educate and like, what do you like, are there a few books that I know you mentioned a few, but are there some that are the best ones that you have to like, is Rich Dad Poor Dad? Should everybody read that? Like, is there, a few things a few
Yeah.
resources that people like definitely, if they're going to get into the entrepreneurship, have to, make
Yep.
sure that they take a look at?
Yeah. Absolutely. It's all mindset, man. Like I
Mhm.
have such a deep understanding of mindset now and like the universe and energy and attraction, law of attraction, manifestation. Like I'm a massive believer on it because I've literally done it all in the past 8 months. And like 8 months is such a short period of time to get where I have been. And it's all from my mindset, dude. And I would definitely suggest to flip your mindset. You have to literally unteach yourself everything you were learned and then reteach everything from the right people and the right knowledge. So
Yeah.
books are a great way to expedite the process. I would definitely read Rich Dad Poor Dad to get your understanding of money and
Yeah.
debt
It's a good
because
base.
we've been
That was
taught
my
all the wrong shit.
baseline. Yeah. That was
I
my
would find some.
baseline.
Yep.
Yep.
Think and Grow Rich for manifestation and the power of your mind.
Right now, I'm reading that,
Definitely
right?
read
Literally
that.
right now. Yep.
I've read that book like 3, 4 times. It's amazing. And then I would read You Are a Badass. You Are a Badass at Making Money. If you want to make money, you have to understand like money is just like a relationship with your girlfriend, your dad, your family. Money's the same exact thing. If you're treating your girlfriend like shit, and if you're not paying attention to your girlfriend, she's gonna treat you like shit back. It's the same thing with money. If you're not looking at money in your financial situation every day and giving it the right amount of attention, the right amount of energy, it is not going to reciprocate that energy back to you. So like what I do now is it's been super effective for me. I literally write a love letter to money every single day when I wake up. I'll write down exactly why I love money, exactly how much is coming to me, what I'm doing with the money that I'm getting. I literally have a full on relationship with money.
So it's like a money journal almost.
Yes. Full money journal, dude. Like I'll manifest amounts of money. Like 2 weeks ago, like I kept seeing the number 7.5 all around. And I just had a feeling like that's how much money I had to make on a certain day. So I woke up, I was feeling really good, wrote down 7.5, wrote a whole journal about that number and what I would do for it. And it lined up with things that I needed to spend on anyway. And I made 7.5K in that one day, just from writing down,
Wow.
manifesting, and yeah, man, it's super powerful. So yeah, I mean, definitely mindset. You got to teach yourself. You got to reteach yourself everything.
I've been doing the from Think and Grow Rich, basically just writing down that like, all right, I'm gonna make $100,000 by this date. I'm gonna make 500,000 by this date, 1 million by this date. So that's kind of like going off of that a little bit. But I think the daily, the daily writing it down is huge. Like, so what's your take on not necessarily visualizing or not only visualizing the money, but just visualizing things in general in your life? I'm taking 5 minutes a day in the morning to do it now with my meditation. But do you visualize
Yeah.
and is that important for you?
Oh yeah. I do an hour morning routine every morning now. I do an hour of hypnosis, which is like a step up for meditation. I listen to a hypnosis podcast. Really cool. I'll share it with you actually, so you
Mm-hmm.
can, share it to your viewers.
Right.
So I'll do that. Those are 30 minutes. Then I'll stretch for about 10 minutes. Then I'll do daily affirmations. I write down what I'm grateful for, 10 things I'm grateful for every day. I'll write my love letter to money. I'll do a breathing exercise that Tony Robbins teaches, and then I will say some out loud affirmations. Like today is going to be amazing. I'm powerful. Like I'm going to make this much money today. Like super powerful things because you're speaking that existence into the universe. So yeah, man, if you start doing that shit consistently, like your life will change. Like I've
How?
done that
Yeah.
morning routine for 6 months now, and it's religious to me. Like if I don't do, I literally have to do it. Like now I'm on the road nonstop, so like I'm staying in hotels every single night. This is the first time I've been home in 3 months. But yeah, man, I'll do it no matter what. Even if I'm like in an Uber on the way to the airport, I'm in the back meditating. I'm in the back writing down my journal. Like I've not missed a day, and there's no excuses. Even if you feel like shit, even if you only slept 3 hours, if you can just do that every single day, you're grounding yourself every day. You're starting from zero. You're grateful. You're writing down what you're grateful for. You're meditating. You're reminding yourself of how lucky you are to be on the earth. And then you can go out throughout your day and implement everything.
Was there a change for you when you realized like, okay, now I have like almost, disposable income, or I can like now I can buy things that I want to buy? Was it a challenge for you to like
Mm,
maybe not go buy that car, or like how it happens with a lot of people where a lot of it comes as in a windfall, right? It comes on that $6,000 in the one day, and then
mm,
you're like, oh wow, like this is crazy. If I can do this every day, right, I can go buy that car or whatever. I think a
yeah,
lot of people want to get in that
yeah,
like, they start to buy the things because they can, because they never could before.
yeah,
But then
yeah.
now you're in. I know you're Credit Con, so you got it. I know you got your money figured out. But was that tempting for you to kind of
Yeah,
get
man.
into that mindset?
It's funny because my niche, like what I preach to people is never use any of your own liquidity. I always teach do not buy dumb shit unless the assets are producing you cash flow to then buy the dumb shit. So I
Yes.
kind of have to follow those rules. And I just started, so my assets aren't even producing me that much money yet. So basically I haven't really bought anything dumb. The only thing that I did not buy is my Cartier bracelet, which is something that I again visualized, and I
Yep.
knew that, people perceive you, bro, just by what you wear. I think looks are super important. So, I always wear just like black, but like, I wear some jewelry. And for me, it was like, that was the one thing I spent. It was in Dubai. It was just a special moment for me. And it was more like a milestone. It's not really about the jewelry. Like I could give a fuck about this thing, dude. It was just about, I got to this point in this long, and this is how I'm rewarding myself. And now when I look at this all goes back. Same with the tattoos. Like I just got 23 tatted on me because this is like the most important year of my life. And so when I change everything, so like I'll get things for me and no one else.
Yeah. And I
But
think
yeah,
that's
man,
the
I'm
most
pretty good about
important.
spending my money.
Mm. Yeah.
Um,
I assume you've came across Ed Milet. You know
yeah,
him?
of course.
Yeah. So he's
Love
got,
him.
this
Yeah.
huge multi, $1 million mansions and things like that. But he's interviewed Tony Robbins. He's interviewed, these crazy high level people. And he always, he, he uses it as, it can be a
Mm,
goal. You shouldn't be ashamed of having a goal like that. That's monetary, but you just can't, find all of
mm,
your, motivation and love, through it.
yeah.
So, but I think, yeah, I
Nah,
think,
bro. It's
that bracelet, like for me, it would be a car, but it would just be a car, really. Like it wouldn't really go.
yeah,
I'm not
dude.
into
Yeah.
shoes. Like I'm
Yep.
not into,
Yep.
honestly, I don't wear any jewelry. I'm not into that at all. It's kind of like the way that I think the best way to go about it is to just, if you are going to spend that money, right, make sure the ROI is there. But even if it's not, just make sure it's that one thing that you care about and not like 100 things just because you can.
Yes. Just spend money on what makes you happy, man. Just
Exactly.
makes yeah, spend it on, for me, what makes me happy is traveling. So, I bought an American Airlines pass, so now I can travel the world for free. That costs a shitload of money. I buy very nice hotels all the time. And that's all an investment in my brand though too. So the more I
Yes.
travel, the more I'm doing what I preach, the more money I'm making. So it kind of all works out for me like that. I do want a car too. There's like a couple things that I really want, but I'm traveling right now. So like the first car I'm going to buy is a Lamborghini. Like I
Yeah.
know it for a fact. I'm going to
Yep.
buy a Lambo. And that'll probably be, I want to have it before I'm 25. So within the next year and a half. And that's just something, it's a milestone. Same shit. It's like
Exactly.
after the Lambo, dude, I'm done. Like I don't care. That's all I need. Like I see myself with it. I envision it. So that's something I'm gonna do. And then besides that, it's just luxury travel. And I'm happy as a minimalist, bro. I wear black jeans, black shirt. I have one black hoodie. I have like one pair of Yeezys. Like I don't really care. I really like jewelry. So like I'm gonna buy a watch. I'm gonna buy more necklaces. Like that's kind of my addiction.
Yeah, I got you. Everybody has it though, and I think that's it's something that it also contributes to the motivation, man. Like I don't even like Beamers, bro, but I still want a blacked out M3. Like I don't even want to own a BMW, bro. But that car I something about the sound, man. Like
Yep.
and I'm a car guy, so
Exactly, man.
that's like that's what's gonna get me. But yeah, do you think can we get into kind of like what you do on the daily, like with your credit, like kind of your current business? We kind of went back. But now to kind of go forward, maybe just start with like how you got into that, and then exactly what you do with it.
Yeah, man. So for me, my whole passion, like ever since a little kid, I've always been fascinated with like travel and like Pinterest and looking at all these exotic places. And then my family started going on a lot of vacations, so I started really young to be able to see, the world. So for me, I've always loved connecting with people. I'm super social. College, I love to party. So just traveling and connecting with tons of people makes me super happy, and being on the move because I'm very ADD. I need to always be somewhere. So working at a job in the same place in a cubicle was traveling is amazing. And the way that I got to that in the beginning was through credit because I wasn't making that much money, and I figured out credit can get you the statuses for hotels, can get you statuses for cars, for planes, pretty much everything, and you can get sign up bonuses. So I figured out ways how I can get all these sign up bonuses at once without spending any of my own money. So that's called manufacturer spending. So I started my whole credit I get 80% off on Marriott's and the Hilton hotels. I have all the statuses across the board, and like half that shit you don't even credit, but it's just how it got me there. So now what I'm focusing on,
Damn.
post about it on my Instagram. So I'll get their credit file to a point. We do credit repair, and then I will fund them up. Anywhere from $50 to $250,000 at 0%. I have a credit repair business as well. I repair over 100 clients a month with me and my partner. And then also, I am doing my credit class, obviously, which is just my private group on Instagram. So I have 116 students right now. And yeah, the lifetime is $1,000, and you get access to all of my strategies, all my expertise, and all the travel hacks and everything like that. So really cool community to be a part of. And then in the future, I want to start podcasting when I get my apartment
Yeah, I mean,
somewhere.
let me know, man. I'm down to, be of any assistance for the podcast. That's what I do, like I said. So, but you need one, man, because your personality is like that. And, I mean, the power of you interviewing one of your students who you helped, or, just somebody who you repaired their credit, would be the power of that content is huge. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
you already know you have to do that. But, yeah, I'm hyped for you to create that type of content. But what would your advice be to somebody who's literally like I'd like to go through the stages. Like, all right, we'll start like, what's your advice for somebody in high school, then somebody in college, then somebody post college, when it comes to
Yeah.
credit and money, um
So it's all about like when that person's ready, dude. Like it's all about like my little sister right now. Like she's 17 years old, and she sees what I'm doing and like being successful, and how I went from this like fraternity college party kid to like where I'm at now so fast. And she's just like, "What the fuck? Like, how did you do this?" I'm like, Caitlin, my time just clicked for me one day. Like I was just done with my old shit that I used to do, and I was ready for entrepreneurship. I wanted to become a millionaire, so that's what all my energy went on. where it's like people in high school, you know, they're always comparing. They're always constantly comparing. So it's like, if you want to start entrepreneurship at 18 years old and that is like what you care about, then go for it right away. Don't do anything else. Don't go to college. Don't waste time on what your parents are telling you. Just fucking go for it. If you're in college and you're doing the same thing, like if you want to go into entrepreneurship, drop out and do entrepreneurship. I think entrepreneurship honestly is the best life because you create your own schedule. You don't have to work for anyone, and you know you scale. Like there's no limit. There's no limit on how much you make. Like for me, it's like the only way I can live my life because of the way I operate with my mind and ADD. And yeah, man, it's an amazing thing to have.
Yeah, so I think the hardest thing for people is determining that. I didn't know that I was going to be, you know, an entrepreneur. At least right now, I'm more of like just a freelance, you know, 1099 type of person, but still the same, you know, mindset you have to be in of like, you know, I determine if I go out and sell today or if I go out and, you know, get a podcast job or something. So, but I think a lot of people, it's hard for them to just to know, you know, especially in high school, nobody tells you, or like entrepreneurship is the last thing on the list of things. Like it's not even on the list. Like it's not even an option. Like there aren't a set of parents, even the entrepreneurial parents, I feel like will tell their kids not to be entrepreneurs. And I don't, you know, I obviously like, I'm just assuming, but I've seen it happen. And a lot of kids who have entrepreneurial parents don't like that because they saw their parents working that like, you know, crazy 16-hour days or something. But so your advice would say, you know, if you have the tendency, you might as well, you know, go for it and try it. You can always go back to college, right?
Dude, you can always go back to your job. You can always go back to college. Like, people are just too, like, I don't know, man. People just don't take risks. Take risks. That's how I got to where I'm at, because I took so many fucking risks in such a short amount of time. Like, I'm very fast. Everything I do, it's like I'll fuck up, I'm on to the next thing. Like I don't dwell on my mistakes. I fuck up every day, all the time. So I'm just learning rapid speed. And because I don't have a job, because I left my job, this is what I do full time, and that's how I was able to scale.
Your pivot, you have the flexibility to where you can pivot daily, and that's one of the things about being an entrepreneur. That's great, but you have to be strong enough too at the same time. But yeah, I'm almost at that. I'm at that point too. I'm trying to build this podcast business. Some weeks I get clients that I'm like, all right, I'm gonna lock them in for 6 months, and then after a month they're like, all right, they don't have the funds anymore. So you know, so it's just like it's a lot of ups and downs. But you got to be willing to take.
If you don't mind me asking you a question, so like the podcast business, do you teach people how to do podcasts, or what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so I'll do a handoff. That's what I kind of like to call the handoff. So I do that as well. The best thing for me, and what I like to do the most is to actually run it and just to run the back end. So I have different packages. So, you know, you could record two podcasts a month with just audio, and I have a package for that. Or we can do an entire show where I come in person and record. And, you know, I'm there doing AV stuff. So it's kind of, you know, it's ranging. But the last marketing agency I was with, I actually just started by editing the audio for their podcast. Then they asked me to come on to host the podcast. Then I ended up running all the sales for the company, like all the inbound sales. And I just didn't even expect to be in that position, awesome. Right? Exactly. Yeah. So I got crazy experience there. But as far as the podcast, I recorded, you know, did the blogs, I did the SEO, the marketing, all the back end for it. Like 20 episodes, took us like 6 months to build it all up. And then the founder wanted to be more involved. I didn't vibe with the company anymore. It just wasn't a good fit for me. Found I was going a little more entrepreneurial. So I kind of did that. Like I built it all up, showed him how to be a host, then did the handoff. So I do both. I mean, or I can come in and just consult and just show you how to set it up, and that be it, you know, so.
Yeah. That's dope, bro.
But yeah,
it's like a lot of fun.
Honestly, I love it. And the thing is, you know, for me, it's getting people to believe in it, because they want, you know how business people are. How am I going to get 10 leads a week from this podcast, right? And the thing is, you're not going to get 10 leads a week from the podcast unless you do it for 2 years, or 6 months, or your patience, and you have to invest in it. Like this shit it's cheap to start, but it's really not cheap to do. If you got a video guy doing 5 clips with subtitles, like That's going to be $100 a week. Like it all adds up. So the people who understand the vision, the people who are invested in it and realize, okay, this can be I can make you a top 100 podcast. It's going to take a couple years, but we're going to get there because we're going to do the marketing. It's going to be an entire thing.
Yep.
I don't even know what the original question was, but yeah, no. Oh yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, I love it. I'm very passionate about it. But like I do music too. Like, you know, I've been a rapper for like 4 years. I've been making music since I was like 11 or 12 years old. So that's how I got into the podcast, because the audio, as well as I just like talking to people. But so there's that too. I mean, I'm gonna blow up as an artist. It's just gonna take some time on some rush shit. It's gonna take like another 4 or 5 years. I mean, it's gonna happen. I already know it's gonna happen.
You read Russ's book?
I did. I just did the audio book, bro. That shit got me in a mode, man. I'm so like.
I read that thing 3 times.
Yes,
3
dude,
times.
I just restarted the audio when it finished. I'm like, nope, let's run it back. But yeah, I see this. I just got to scale right now, to be honest with you, and just like get the website, the landing pages set up for it.
Dude, he's a
straight up, dude. He's crazy. I love his content. But yeah, man. So that's what I've been doing with the podcasts. But I love it, man. People don't realize that it's so easy to do. The actual doing all the back end shit kind of takes a lot of time, but it is very easy. I've been setting up founders. I mean, I was in startup marketing, so that's the agency I was at. So these founders are like really cool, like technical people, who just, you know, need to interview their clients. And then, I mean, once you have a story like that, one clip that goes viral, like then it was all worth it, you know? So.
Yeah.
But
that's great.
Yeah, I'd say get into it, man, whenever you get the chance.
I will, man. I want a whole studio. Like I want to invite people down to the studio. Like when I get my crib, it's probably going to be in Vegas or LA. And yeah, man, I want to have like an office / studio / podcast room with like bean bags, the whole setup. Like I could just see it.
Like a little mini VaynerMedia room going on, like.
Yeah. Like I'll do my work in there, and then I'll also have the podcast room in there as well.
My buddy just did that in Tampa. He just bought a house in Tampa, putting a podcast studio in it. It's the new wave, man. It's the new wave. It is it's so great. You have your own talk show. Like, what's the downside of that?
I know. There is no networking.
It's literally, yeah. And I love it. I'm obsessed with it, man. But hey, I can talk about podcasts for hours, man. Hey, if there's anything before I do like some outro shit, you know, just let people know where to find you. And if there's anything specific you want to tell them, anything that's coming up, or, you know, to join the credit class, whatever it might be.
I want to tell them about one thing real quick that's super important. And then I'll do the outro. So, guys, networking is how I got to where I'm at right now, literally. Your network is your net worth. I'm not even kidding. Like that is the truest statement ever. I've been to so many different networking events that I've had to pay for. You know, when I didn't even have the money, like do whatever you have to do to get to these events and meet people. Because every single event that I've been to, I'm just now realizing I've met at least one business partner, and I've always made a deal at one of these events, no matter what. If it was a credit class, if it was funding, if it was an investment I got paid commission off of. Everywhere I go, the more I go to in person, Instagram's great. Don't get me wrong. It's changed my life. But in person, something about that, man, like when they look up like your Instagram in person, you meet them in person, like they will DM you after if you have a good profile and you have followers. But yeah, man, I've been just meeting so many people this past 3 months, and like it helps me a lot because I'm able to travel all around the world every single day whenever I want. So I could just meet someone wherever. But yeah, guys, it's all about how fast you want it. For me, I wanted it now. I wanted to become a millionaire before 25. So I literally got rid of my apartment. I gave my car to my sister. I got everything I needed for the ability to travel for free and luxury. And now I can literally get rid of all the things holding me back because there's nothing tying me down. So if there's an opportunity, I'm there. So like, that's what I had to do to get to where I want to go. And that's what I knew I had to do to get to my goal. So if you have a goal, you can get to it too, but you're going to have to cut out a lot of shit. You're going to have to delegate your time. You're going to have to network and find the right people that are going to help you get to your goal. But it's all fucking possible. And you just don't stop until you reach the goal. That's all it is. That's all. Everyone who's hit their goals, all these entrepreneurs, Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, all of them put a goal and just literally didn't take no for an answer and just got to the goal. That's all it is. Just don't stop. And then
That's
as
it.
far as Credit Class, yes, Credit Class is my private mastermind group. It's my inner circle on Instagram. I have 116 members right now. It's $1,000 for lifetime access. You get a private Telegram chat with all the members, and you get access to my Facebook group where I interview, just like you, entrepreneurs from all around the world. The past ones we just had was Alex Meller. We had Mr. Airbnb. We had Justin Kimbrough, some massive big hitter names, John Malott. So we have a lot of good people on there, a lot of people you can learn from. And then besides that, if you guys are interested in getting funding for yourself or your business, I can fund you at 0%, anywhere from $50,000 to $250,000, depending on your credit file. So reach out to me if you need help with that. If you need credit repair as well, I do 0 to 90 days, full credit sweep, full credit repair. So we remove all negatives off your report, and then I can help you age your file to get you to your goals. So yeah, I got a bunch of services, and I'm always ready to help. Reach out to me at Colin Yurcisin on Instagram. You can also search at Credit Colin.
Awesome. Thank you, Colin, so much. And all of this information, too, is going to be in the show notes or description for anybody watching or listening today. I just want to let you guys know, as usual, we are on all platforms. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube for the video. Anchor app is where I host. I'm just going to plug myself real quick, but my music is also on all platforms as well. That's Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, SoundCloud, and even the ones that nobody uses, folks. Thank you so much, Colin, for coming on BOPCAST today, being a guest. A lot of information here for people. I think in life, in credit, money, it's all important stuff. And, you know, you're a thriving example of it. So I really appreciate you coming on here, Colin. Thank you.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. I had a great time on here.
Anytime, man. Anytime.